Do you want to change your life? Then stop waiting for the right time. Because the right time, that magical moment where everything aligns, where you feel perfectly ready, fully motivated, and absolutely certain, that moment doesn't exist. Let me ask you something serious. What is the first thing you do when you wake up? If your answer is check my phone, scroll through social media, or hit snooze, then don't be surprised when your days feel scattered, your goals feel far, and your motivation dies before lunchtime. I'm telling you this because I lived it. But when I made one change, just one simple, uncomfortable, but powerful shift, my entire life, business, and mindset transformed. That change? Winning my mornings. That's why I'm here to tell you something your friends won't say, your job won't teach you, and school never emphasized. If you can't control your morning, you'll never control your life. If you feel stuck, lost, unmotivated, it's not because you're lazy or untalented. It's because you keep losing the first battle of the day, the battle with yourself. You see, your morning is not just the time on the clock. It is a decision point. It is the moment where your future self is either created or destroyed. Every single day. So don't take this speech lightly. This isn't just motivation. It's a wake-up call. And if you stay with me till the end, I promise you'll walk away not just inspired, but with a blueprint, a step-by-step way to turn your mornings into your most powerful weapon for success. Let's begin. Mornings build momentum. It's not just a quote, it's a truth proven by anyone who's ever achieved something extraordinary. If you think your day starts at 9 a.m., when you open your laptop, you're already behind. Your day starts the moment you open your eyes. That first hour decides your pace, your direction, and your dominance over the next 23. People often say, I don't have time, but the irony is they lose hours to sluggish, distracted, chaotic mornings. And the problem isn't time, it's energy, clarity, and intention. When you treat your morning as disposable, the rest of your day becomes disorganized. But when you treat your morning like gold, everything else falls into place. Momentum is not built when you're sitting still waiting to feel motivated. It's built when you take intentional action, especially when it's uncomfortable. That early moment when the alarm rings is not just a noise, it's a test. And how you respond sets the tone for the day. Hit snooze? You just trained your mind to delay discipline. Jump out of bed. You've already taken your first win. That win leads to the next. Drinking water, moving your body, feeding your mind. You create a chain reaction of confidence, focus, and energy, and that is momentum. People underestimate the compound power of a strong start. They believe in finishing strong, but they forget that strong finishers are usually strong starters. You don't run a marathon by sprinting the last mile. You start strong, you find rhythm, and you keep moving. A successful day isn't about luck or perfect conditions. It's about entering the day with fire already lit, your own fire, not someone else's agenda, not your emails, not the news. And that fire begins in the morning. You'll notice something else when you start winning your mornings. People around you will start noticing too. Not because you told them, but because you'll carry a different energy. You'll walk in sharper, speak clearer, solve problems faster. People will say, you've changed, and you'll smile because you know the truth. It wasn't magic. It wasn't overnight. It was the 5M discipline. It was those cold mornings when you showed up anyway. It was your morning ritual that nobody saw. Here's the thing, once you experience the power of a productive, intentional morning, you can't go back. You'll feel the difference in your performance, your confidence, and your peace. And the best part, you don't need a fancy planner, expensive routine, or private coach. You just need a decision. Every morning gives you a blank canvas. You either paint it with power or let it stay blank. So if you truly want to build momentum, start early. Win that first hour, and the rest of the day starts chasing you. You won't just be reacting to life, you'll be leading it. Because the one who wins the morning doesn't just win the day, they win their future. Discipline over mood, that's the line most people don't want to hear. But it's the truth that separates the average from the unstoppable. You're not always going to feel like waking up early. You're not always going to feel like pushing yourself. But success doesn't respond to your feelings. It responds to your consistency. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Discipline says, I do it anyway. Mood says, I'll see how I feel. And if your life is led by mood, you'll never own your mornings. You'll be a prisoner of comfort. The world loves comfort, and comfort is the enemy of growth. When your alarm rings and your bed feels warm and your mind whispers, just 5 more minutes, discipline is what pulls you out. Discipline is what makes you get up when nobody's watching, when there's no applause and no promise of reward, just your word to yourself. That's power. You don't need the perfect weather, the right song, or some external trigger to do the right thing. All you need is a decision, repeated daily, until it becomes who you are. That's what discipline does. It rewires your identity. Think of any successful person you admire. It's not that they were born with more energy or had perfect mornings every day. They trained themselves to rise above excuses. They mastered the ability to act independent of mood. That's why they succeed, not because they feel inspired every morning, but because they built routines that didn't require inspiration. They don't ask, do I feel like doing this? They ask, what needs to be done? That mindset, repeated every morning, builds unstoppable momentum. Mood is a liar. Some days you'll wake up feeling tired, uninspired, doubtful. If you listen to those emotions, you'll stay in the same cycle forever, half starting, stopping, doubting, quitting. But if you apply discipline, you interrupt that pattern. You build a new one. You stop being a slave to emotion and start becoming the architect of your day. You'll find that the days you feel the worst are often the ones where showing up matters most. That's the day you build mental strength. That's the day you raise your standards. Discipline gives you freedom. It sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. When you train yourself to rise early, to ignore the snooze button, to follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you create a foundation of control. And control gives you confidence. You no longer live at the mercy of your feelings. You become dependable, not just to others, but to yourself. And that's the foundation of trust. When you trust yourself to do what's necessary, regardless of mood, there's nothing you can't achieve. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop hoping tomorrow will feel better. Win the morning by doing what needs to be done, especially when it's hard, because that's when it counts. Not when it's easy, but when your body says no and your mind says yes. That's where the breakthrough begins. Discipline doesn't just win the morning, it wins your character. Silence is strategy. In a world that screams at you from the moment you wake up, notifications, headlines, opinions, distractions, the quiet hours of the morning are your secret weapon. They are the time when the noise of the world hasn't crept in yet, and your thoughts are still yours. That silence isn't emptiness, it's clarity. And inside that clarity lies your greatest strength, focus. When you start your morning in silence, you don't just avoid chaos, you prepare for it. You build the mental shield before the attacks come. That is strategy. Most people never experience this level of quiet clarity. They wake up and immediately drown in other people's noise. They grab their phones, check messages, scroll social media, and by the time they've even gotten out of bed, their attention has already been hijacked. The mind becomes reactive instead of proactive. You're not thinking, you're responding. You're not planning, you're defending. But the high performers, the game changers, they do it differently. They wake up early not because they love mornings, but because they understand the power of silence. In that silence, they listen not to the world, but to themselves. They ask, what matters today? What needs to be done? Who do I need to become? That silence is not laziness. It's a battlefield before the battle. It's where vision is sharpened, decisions are made, and strategies are born. Without it, you're just moving blindly. But when you claim the quiet hours, even 30 minutes of undisturbed thought can change your direction. It's where you connect to your purpose, your goals, your values. You don't find your path when the world is screaming. You find it when everything is still. This is why so many successful people protect their mornings like sacred ground. They don't allow noise in until they're ready. They don't check email, news, or social media right away. Why? Because silence is power. And once you hand over your attention in the first few minutes of your day, you've already surrendered your control. Silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It's where you breathe, think, right? Reflect, visualize. And most importantly, it's where you decide how the day will unfold, not how the day will control you. Imagine walking into a battlefield without a plan, a shield, or a weapon. That's what most people do when they start their day in noise. But when you walk into your day from a place of silence, from a space of grounded clarity, you're already ahead. You don't react to problems, you prepare for them. You don't fear challenges, you're expecting them. That's what silence does. It builds your inner strategy, and strategy wins battles long before they begin. So tomorrow morning, before you open your phone, open your mind. Sit with yourself. Think, feel, breathe. Let the silence speak, because in that stillness, you will find your edge. And in a world addicted to noise, silence is not just rare, it's your ultimate advantage. Routine is a superpower, not a constraint, not a boring repetition, but a personal system designed for success. Most people chase results without building the structure that supports them. They want the outcome, but reject the process. But those who win the morning understand that routine is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters repeatedly until greatness becomes automatic. When you set a clear, powerful morning routine, you no longer have to think about being productive. You simply are. Because success isn't something you force each day. It's something you become through discipline and structure. Think about the athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, people who perform at a high level every single day. They aren't relying on willpower. They have a system. They wake up at a certain time, do specific things in a specific order, and they protect that flow like their life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Your routine is the scaffolding that holds your goals in place. It's the reason why even on bad days, you still move forward. You don't need to guess or decide what to do. You follow the path you've already designed. The truth is, your brain loves patterns. It thrives on repetition. When you create a consistent morning routine, your mind begins to associate certain actions with a sense of progress and focus. Wake up, hydrate, exercise, read, plan. These aren't just tasks, they're triggers. Each one signals your mind that it's time to rise, time to lead, time to grow. You start the day not by reacting, but by declaring, this is who I am, and this is how I show up. But here's the challenge. Routine doesn't happen by accident. It's forged by effort, especially in the beginning. You will want to quit. You will tell yourself, I'll skip just today. But remember this, every time you break the pattern, you break momentum. And momentum is hard to rebuild, so guard your routine like it's sacred, because it is. It's the foundation of your energy, your discipline, and your results. A strong routine doesn't make life boring, it makes life better. It gives you freedom. Freedom from doubt, from decision fatigue, from scattered mornings and wasted time. When you have a system, you don't spend your energy wondering what to do, you spend it doing what matters. And that's what sets winners apart. Not more talent, not more luck, just better structure applied consistently. If your mornings are chaotic, your life will be too. But if your mornings are clear, focused, and intentional, you'll find yourself accomplishing more in a few hours than most do all day. That's the quiet power of routine. It's not loud. It doesn't seek attention. But over time, it builds something unstoppable: identity, character, and achievement. So don't leave your morning to chance. Design it, refine it, and repeat it. Because the routine you follow shapes the future you build. Own the morning. Dominate the battlefield. Every day you wake up, you step into a new arena. It doesn't matter if you're a student, an entrepreneur, an employee, or building your dream from scratch, your day is a battle. And the first fight you face isn't against competition, deadlines, or expectations. It's against yourself. The moment you wake up, you're at war with comfort, with doubt, with distraction. And the one who wins that first internal battle is the one who shows up stronger, sharper, and more prepared for everything else. Most people underestimate how much power lies in the first decision of the day. That decision, whether to rise or roll over, sets the tone for everything that follows. You choose between action or hesitation, between progress or postponement. And make no mistake, how you start is how you continue. If you start slow, distracted, or passive, the rest of your day tends to follow that rhythm. But when you own your morning, get up with purpose, take control of your mind, and move with intention, you build a momentum that's nearly impossible to stop. You've got to treat your morning like a mission. Before the world tries to claim your attention, you must claim your identity. You don't wake up to be average. You don't wake up to go through the motions. You wake up to lead, to grow, to conquer the hours ahead. But that only happens when you stop letting the morning control you and you start controlling it. Your morning isn't a routine. You survive. It's a strategy you designed to dominate the rest of your day. And the truth is, the battlefield isn't fair. There are distractions waiting to ambush you, problems you didn't predict, people who will doubt you, and moments where your confidence will be tested. That's why the morning matters. Because when you win it, when you prepare mentally, physically, emotionally, you don't react to challenges, you rise above them. You don't just fight through the day, you lead it. Look at the greatest performers in any field. Their days don't start by accident. They wake up early. They train. They plan. They visualize. Before the world even opens its eyes, they've already won. Not because they're superhuman, but because they refuse to lose the morning. They know that life rewards those who show up ready, not those who scramble later. So the question is, what kind of warrior do you want to be? One who stumbles onto the battlefield halfway through the fight? Or one who walks in fully armored, fully focused, and fully ready? Your success doesn't begin at noon or when someone gives you permission. It starts in those quiet, uncomfortable early moments when you choose action over excuses. That's when winners are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of morning discipline. own the morning and you'll no longer chase greatness. It will chase you. Let me leave you with this truth. Every morning, you are handed a fresh chance to shape your destiny. The world isn't won by those who wait for the perfect moment. It's won by those who create momentum before the world even wakes up. Your morning is your proving ground. It's where you build resilience. It's where you train discipline. It's where your future self is either forged or forgotten. If you want extraordinary results, stop living ordinary mornings. Stop waking up like it doesn't matter, because it does. The quality of your morning decides the strength of your day, and the strength of your day compounds into the power of your life. So choose to rise with intention. Choose to lead yourself before anything or anyone else. Don't let another sunrise pass by wasted. Surrender to comfort or distraction. Stand up. Show up. Speak to your goals before the world speaks to you. Because the truth is simple but undeniable. If you win the morning, you will win the day. And when you do that enough times, you don't just win your day, you win your life.